with the Vikings and the Rams. Are the Rams all of a sudden good, and have the Vikings gone, dare I say it, pumpkin mode already? Maybe. 4 touchdowns for Matthew Stafford. He got Puka and Cooper Kupp back. Here he was after the game.
That's what you envisioned, when training camp started, and it's nice to have those guys back. I said it earlier, but I really do think it was great for our entire team. Great for our offense. Obviously, I was so happy and proud for those guys to be back out on the grass with us, but also really big for our defense, our special teams. Everybody feels that when those guys are back in.
Okay, scarier moving forward, the Rams or the Vikings?
Well, the Rams can win the Super Bowl, and the Vikings cannot. So,
tough one.
The Rams. You know what last night was? Part of the slow, steady vindication of the committee. The committee that refused to bow to the power ranking standing zealot pressure of,
they're undefeated.
Exactly.
They're undefeated.
Exactly. My point exactly.
I'm wondering
and
where the Rams were this week. Maybe where were the Rams?
No, the Rams were second lowest tier. The Rams, 2 weeks ago, the Rams were facing elimination, and now but it's more about where the Vikings weren't, which was never tier 1 or tier 2, and in fact, tiers with names I went back and looked, sub Super Bowl ceiling, incredibly fun, not sustainable. That was Minnesota, and and Minnesota also, on a serious note, lost the second best player on their entire team, Christian Darrisaw, for the season. To a knee injury. We just found out a half hour ago that he's out for the year. Listen, I thought the Rams last year could have won the NFC. They started 3-6, then got red hot, and they played the Lions. They lost by a point to the Lions in round 1. I understand a lot of things would have to happen. My point was, if they can get any semblance of a pass rush, and Jared Verse, who both of us liked, him and his teammate Fisk as their first 2 picks, they can get any semblance of a pass rush. That offense is terrifying when they have all their pieces. And so I'm not trying to, take any, or I guess I am a little bit, but I'm not trying to act like the Vikings didn't accomplish anything. But the Vikings also could, in 48 hours, be in last place in their division. It comes at you fast in the NFC North. And so am I certain the Vikings are making the playoffs? I'm not. Yeah. And I'm not certain the Rams are either, to be clear, but they have an easier path to winning that division. The division's wide open, and I think they're a scary team, bro.
Well, first thing, let me say this. I mean, a lot of times when a quarterback loses his stars, people say he's no good if he doesn't produce with them. And last night kind of showed that. Matthew Stafford, without his 2 Avengers,
beat Brock Purdy and the Niners.
In 6 games, had 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Yeah. But it's a season. Yeah. 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Last night he gets his guys back and looks great, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. So he had more touchdowns in 1 game than he had in the previous 6. So I'm with Nick in that it's the Rams. That offense, as he said, is scary. They put 30 points on what had been looking like one of the better defenses in the NFL. And they're just a totally different team with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. And Williams was running the ball pretty well anyway, but it just opens everything up for him. And so last night you saw a team that had been averaging, the Rams, 19 points a game, one of the lowest in the league. And then they just put 30 on the Vikings. Yeah. And so that's one reason they're more dangerous. Also, it seems like, we'll watch it, but have people figured out this vaunted Brian Flores defense that we all were raving about? You got a graphic about it?
Yeah, so here's the graphic. First 5 games felt good. And the last 2 games, you go up against Ben Johnson and Sean McVay. Also, this not in the graphic, but even the back half of that Packers
I was about to say, the second half.
What's going on? So I don't know if it's figured out or what, but yeah, there's a ceiling. If the defense is not going to be amazing, you're going to get – and Sam Darnold played okay.
Sam Darnold played fine. He wasn't the problem yesterday.
But here's the thing. Darnold is fine, and he's obviously been putting up some good numbers. But look at the quarterbacks in the NFC. Dak. I'm just throwing the playoff teams out there. Dak, Jalen Hurts, the 2 rookies, Daniels and Caleb, Brock Purdy, Stafford, all the ones in his division, Goff. Jordan Love. Like, who are you taking him over? Just when you look at these teams, you're going to say the other team has an advantage at quarterback.
For all of them.
And if they figured out the defense, and then, like Nick said, just the division of Vikings, there's a very good chance they don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, and
a very good chance.
Just quickly for the Rams, next 5. Seattle, huge game to lead the division. Home for Miami, at New England, and then home for Philly at New Orleans. Like, to me, that's got 4-1 written all over it, and all of a sudden they're sitting at 7-5, first place in the NFC West. You know what? With the host en route to hosting a playoff game, I just don't think that's what's in the cards for Minnesota.
Let's look at the controversial end of the game. About 1:40 to go, 2nd and 10. Vikings back twisted down. It's unreviewable play, bro. Referee Trey Blake saying they did discuss it, but, quote, we weren't able to see it on the field, so we weren't able to make the call. Your reaction?
Well, I was watching this live, and I didn't see him actually grabbing the face mask, but by the way Darnold reacted, you could see something, like the way he went down.
And the way Young reacted,
like
I just made a huge mistake.
Look at it. We got it on video.
That off.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew, oh my gosh, what have I done? Like, so there you go. And the ref should have just looked at that and said, you know, but you know what? And he couldn't see it.
He tweeted, it was so loud after my sack, I had to cover my ears. But that's obviously not what happened, but go ahead.
I mean, the ref could not, he's right, and he said after the game he couldn't see it. But that's where, again, maybe just because of the reaction of Darnold, you throw the flag just so you can review it. Because if you throw it on a call pass or call face mask, then you could review it and take it, you know, oh, no, it wasn't a face mask, if that was the case. But look, I think, Nick, they got to make that reviewable. And I don't know if I get that they don't want to expand it too much. Maybe it's like within the last 2 minutes, things are reviewable, because that, now, there's not.
Like an NBA rule.
Right. I don't think Sam Darnold was going to march them down the field, although there was a slight part of me that felt maybe Justin Jefferson will make some magic and take a short pass and go.
Exactly like that.
And
just
so
throw it in Justin
it was
Jefferson's
possible.
direction.
It was
but
possible.
I didn't think it was going to happen, but it was possible.
But just, all right, very quickly, 2 things. One is, amazing. Another game with some shaky officiating at the end that didn't involve the Chiefs. But we're talking about it because it's a standalone island game. Just like the last time the Vikings were in one of these Vikings-Jets, everyone hated the officials. It's not some league-wide conspiracy. Refs just missed calls. But where's the camera? Right here? Do not add anything to the purview of instant replay. Because what you guys are arguing for is to add uncalled penalties, which makes every single game controversial.
Or allow them to challenge that.
Again, you're challenging nothing.
There was a.
Right.
It just should be something.
Okay, but
I'm not saying.
Listen, man. Sometimes there's blown
player
calls.
Safety.
Sometimes there's blown calls, and if you add to the purview things unchallenged, uncalled penalties, you can challenge. Then every big play in a key moment late in the game, coach is going to throw his challenge flag and say, guys upstairs, find the missed hold. Find the guard that did something. Find the brief hands to the face. It will be bad for the sport. But you can make it, again, whether you say that's a player safety issue with the face mask. So maybe you just make face mask. And again, it's a regular season game, and you're absolutely right. Mistakes happen. It just felt so egregious because it was blatantly obvious.
If I was a lawyer, I would call it a scoring play since it was a safety.
Scoring play. They already reviewed touchdowns.
But even with scoring plays, you can't. Uncalled penalties is not something that gets reviewed under any circumstance.
That's why I said he should.
Yeah.
Maybe, just a different colored flag.
Okay, the way he reacted, throw the flag.
Just a new flag.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Replay's
bad for
you
sports,
could just have thrown
except for tennis.
No, it's actually bad for tennis.
It's actually great for tennis.
No,
we're not arguing about tennis right now.
Not enough arguing in tennis. You need more arguing in tennis. Everyone's like, was it out? And all the personalities out.
Yeah.
Less replay in tennis.
We just talked tennis, which means to pay back the network, the Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys at 49ers this weekend. San Francisco growing as a favorite after they heard our takes. This line now at 4.5. Cowboys off a bye. Here's Dak on what the Cowboys worked on this week. Take a listen.
For us, particularly on offense, communication and consistency. It's the best two ways to sum it up. Being consistent on the outside, the playmakers, us in the passing game, and then just communicating up front. I can just tell you, being out there, it's a lot louder on the line of scrimmage. Guys are more confident. That allows the play to start with a whole better vibe and confident beginning.
Okay, Brew, who you got in this one?
Nick thought he was slick on the morning call.
What do
He
you
said
mean?
he predicted, Brew's going to take the Cowboys. He's been hinting at it all week. That's what he said. And I will be honest in that I have thought about that.
Really?
They're coming off a bye. San Francisco is banged up. Obviously, the Cowboys are too, but so are the Niners. And the Cowboys are desperate. However, the Niners are even more desperate. I'm going with San Francisco. I can't, Nick, unsee down 20.